In this video, I'm going to show you how you can connect to Movicon Connect's OPC UA server using Node-RED. So to begin with, I've created a new flow in Node-RED and I've just called it Demo Flow. You can call it whatever's useful for yourself. And I'm going to come over to my nodes. I'm going to come down until I get to my IIoT, and I'm looking for an inject node, this one here. I'm going to pop that onto screen. And it doesn't really matter what it's going to inject, but I'm going to say inject once, and then I'm actually going to tell it to update every half a second. So next, what we're going to need is the OPC UA nodes. So to get the node information from what's being displayed from Connext, I'm going to have to use another piece of software called Unified Automation UAExpert and browse to the OPC UA server. So let's bring that over. So first thing I need to do is actually add the OPC UA server. So I'm going to add server, give it a useful name, then go to advanced. The endpoint has got to be opc.tcp // and my server is on 192.131.94.25, and this is really important that the port needs to be 62841 unless it's been configured otherwise when you set up your OPC server. So I'm going to hit connect, and it's brought me up an error because I've got a bad certificate. Don't worry about this. Just come down and say accept the server's temporary certificate for this session. Hit continue. So it's now connected. I'm going to come down to my address space, to my tags, to my folder ND meter, and the tag I'm interested in is phase 1 volts. So in order to connect to this in Node-RED, I need the node ID, which is over in the attributes here. So I'm going to copy this completely. Copy value. And I'm going to come back to Node-RED. I'm going to add my first node. This is my phase 1 volts. I'm going to paste my value in there. I'm also going to put in my phase 1 amps. I'm going to come back to UA, find phase 1 amps, and again, attributes, I'm going to copy that value back to Node-RED, double click back into my timestamp, paste it in, done. Now we need to set up a listening node next because we've told it what nodes we're looking for, but we haven't told it where to look. So I'm going to bring a listener over. I'm going to connect the two together by clicking and holding this node and dropping onto this one. And I want to tell it where to connect. So I'm going to add a new server. I'm going to call it my Connext server. And once again, I need to put the IP address where it is, which is 172.131.94.25, and the port, which is 62841. You hit add, and done. And to test this now, I'm going to need some way of reading the data, so I'm going to use an output node, which is a debug node there. Again, I'm going to just stitch it together. And now I need to deploy my node. So I'm going to hit deploy. We can see it's active. We can see we should have an output from here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to my debug node, and we can see we're getting values through every half a second. If we open one of these up, we can see this one is giving me a value of 236, and this one's giving me a value of 4, so I can see the two different values coming through. But this isn't very helpful for us. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to use a function now, and we're going to break the values out so they make more sense. So I'm going to grab a function. I'm going to turn this node off and delete it for the moment. I'm going to grab a function. I'm going to take the output from the listener into my function. And then I've pre-written some JavaScript for this. Anything that you need from this video, just drop us an email and we'll be able to give it to you. So we're looking for the node ID and the topic. And I'm also going to say I want two outputs. As we've got two inputs coming in, I want two outputs coming out. So I'm going to come back to my listener rather than going back through the browse, sorry, my timestamp. Rather than come back through the browse, I'm just going to copy and say when the message is received, if it's this node, create a new payload, mark the topic as being phase 1 volts, and push it out. Otherwise, getting the other node now. If it's the other node, which is my phase 1 amps, create me a new payload and export it. Hit done. And you can see I put two outputs from there. I'm going to grab two debugs, connect a block to each. I'm going to redeploy, clearing the node. So we'll wait for this to start in a second. You can see we're getting values from both, and to prove it works, I'll turn off one. So that's how we can use Node-RED to connect to a Movicon Connext OPC UA server and output the data. Thanks for watching.